So we have this African-American president, but the situation in many cases hasn't changed. In a lot of cases, it's gotten worse. What do we do? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you. Get your act together, man. You know, it's really disappointing to me is Chicago. You got Chicago, and you got black folks in there, and the murder rate right now is like higher than it's ever been. Now, this place is where basically the President of the United States, hails from his, young adult life, from Chicago. That's what he claims as his home. That's where his wife is from. That's where his kids were born. He's from Chicago. Now, to me, I would think that if I was an African American and I was living in Chicago, even if I wasn't the brightest one, and if I didn't even graduate high school, if I was as dumb as a rock, I would take some kind of pride in recognizing that there was an African-American president, and I'm African-American, and he comes from my city. I would be on my P's and Q's just to make him look good. But it's not happening like that. So we have, what we have now is an African-American president as basically an excuse has been taken away from us to respond any kind of way that we want to respond. It was always easy to say, well, the white man's keeping us down, and the man won't let us do that, and there's always this and always that. But the reality is we have an example before us of an African-American man who is actually in leadership doing something. And he's not just some handkerchief-head African-American man that's trying to kowtow to white folks. He's an African-American man who's got a black wife. I mean, for real. And he named his kids Sasha and Malia. Sometimes they're wearing braids. These are black folks that are black. And we got a lot of black folks that are not black. You know what I mean? But this is a black man, and his name is Barack Obama. He don't care. He didn't. Come on, man. So we're African Americans in this nation. To me, we should be going overboard to be acting right, to show the world, well, look, hey, African American president, why would I shoot my African American brother and make this guy look bad? That's how ignorant we are. This is one time in history, from our nation's history, where black folks were slaves, where black folks were mistreated, under Jim Crow, under all kinds of negative situations, of lynchings, of murders, of tortures, of unfair imprisonment, unfair job hiring practices, unfair housing, all kinds of negative, unfair police attention, all kinds of negativity black folks have suffered under. We have an African American and we're still acting stupid. I'm around one of our local high schools just about every day, right in Dayton, Dunbar High School. And I'm seeing these kids high, walking down the street, in the middle of the street, making cars slow down or go around them. I mean, I don't know who to blame that on, them or their parents, but it's very ignorant. And if your kids go to Dunbar High School at 3 o'clock, you need to go down there around Albritton and Richley and Denison and Randolph and Clement and look and see how your kids are acting and correct them right out there in the street. Right? We got an African American president. Our kids should not be acting like this. It's a shame. It's an embarrassment. It's actually proof to the world that we are too ignorant to function as normal people in this society. Come on now. Now, we have made such great gains, and I'm not just worried about what white people are thinking. I'm saying, hey, see, that's one, I'm not even going there. See, there are a lot of black folks walking around with little handkerchiefs on their head, wanting to make, white folks see them and, look at me, I ain't like that, and all this. Because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just prove to them that they're wrong. That's my point. That's my point. Look at our history. Look at our history in the military. We've all seen the Red Tails. We've all seen the show with that squadron that was in World War II of black Americans that were flying those fighter planes. They would even let black folks fly those fighter planes, during combat missions. They were like escort, just doing nothing, just playing around. But when they had their opportunity to shine, they ended up being the best of the best. Even today in history, they have the record for having lost no bombers that they were escorting. They were the best of the best. As African Americans, when we get that opportunity, when we get that time, we need to be the best of the best. Not because we're embarrassed or we want white people to see us this way. No, for our own selves, to prove ourselves that we are that sharp. Come on now, look at our history. If you start going way back on history, look, you had basketball that was an all-white sport. You had baseball that was an all-white sport. You had football that was an all-white sport. You had golf that was an all-white sport. Tennis that was all. They wouldn't even let black folks play. They had to make up their own leagues, the Negro League, right? Jackie Robinson. So we get blacks that had some power, had some skills, got in there and proved to them the caliber of sports, the caliber of physical prowess and abilities that we have as African Americans. Entertainers the same. Come on now. We've had black entertainers that can be compared to none. You know some of them today. Honestly, I got Jimi Hendrix, right? Best guitar player of all time. You got all kinds of jazz musicians. We don't even need to go there. But all I'm saying is that we go into politics, and then we can see, we begin to see African Americans raise up through the ranks in the military, and they had to be sharp, or they wouldn't have made it. They had to be the best among the best, or they wouldn't have made it. So then we had African Americans in the politics as well. Shirley Chisholm, and we had a lot of African Americans. We had with the Colin Powells in our recent history. We had the Condoleezza Rice. Doesn't matter what party they were from. What's his name? Clarence Thomas, a Republican in the Supreme Court. Man, I was for Clarence Thomas. I don't care if he was a Republican. I don't care if he was married to a white woman. I don't care if he wants to stop affirmative action. The fact is, he was a sharp, intelligent brother, black man. Come on now. So we began moving Thurgood Marshall before him on the Supreme Court as well, which was very, very instrumental in many positive steps forward for African Americans, especially in the school systems and all. So we have, of course, the Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, and all through the military, all kinds of generals. I knew generals when I was in the military. I was so proud, even as a young airman, to see African American generals. You know, it was just something. Up to today, man, we have an African American president. So we should, as African Americans, clean up our act. Quit, put the bottle away, put the weed away, put the coke, crack away, or go to a program to get cured of that mess. Get an education. Try to find a way to get an education. If you're poor, I don't know the ins and outs, but there are educational programs out there to make it. You can make it. We need to do something. We need to do something different. Some of y'all know, last time when President Obama became president, I made a determination that I was going to do something. All I had was a high school diploma from 1976. I decided I'm going to get a degree. And that same year he became president, I enrolled in school and got my degree. It was hard. It wasn't easy. But I'm saying is we need to just do better simply because of what we got. Be motivated. Stop muddling around in the puddle that we've been in simply because of the situation that was presented before us. I admit we had a bad break. And we continue to have bad breaks. But there is a way. When we look at some of the people that have come before us, all of the, like the sports folks that I just named, and the military folks, and the political folks, all those folks, it wasn't easy. I tell my daughter, I believe in repetition. As you know, I practiced the martial art for many years. I didn't play basketball. You know, I didn't run track. I didn't do any of those things. I came from the Bruce Lee era. We all just practiced martial art. That's what I stuck with all my life. But my daughter comes up and she wants to run track. I don't know anything about that. I know how to repetition. I know I was taught how to throw a side kick, and then every day we throw like 50 or 60 or 70 or 100 side kicks. I was taught to fight, you know, the basics of fighting, and every day we fight 10, 15, 20 fights. This is what I learned from the martial art. I know about repetition and how you get better every time you repeat. Took my daughter out, as you know. We went running. Okay, we just ran. Lap, every day. We just went running. Now we run 4 nights a week, a mile. My daughter now, she's 7. Now she wants to play basketball. I can't play basketball. I'm that black guy who the white guys are all happy. Hey man, we got a black guy on the team. They throw the ball, bounce off my chest and rolls. I don't play basketball, but I'm out there with her. Okay, I know what I used to play horse and pig when I was a kid. So I'm out there, you know, just throw 50 shots a night. Of the foul shot, foul line, whatever you call it. See, I mean, and then I have my garage is very large, so I put a basketball net up in the garage, and we got the chalk out there. And okay, now do a layup, do 20 layups on each side. And I have like 5 different spots. Okay, just shoot, 10 shots from each of those spots. Now run up to that spot and shoot 10 times. And we just do that, and then we just dribble back and forth. I can't even dribble. And she don't know that now. But they can give her the basics, and I can get her to repeat them. And she loves doing that. So now we run at night, then we come home, and we go play basketball. And I've made it fun. We do it, and at the end, she's using the chalk, drawing butterflies on the concrete. So she's still a little girl, like enjoying herself, having fun. What I'm saying is, find a way. It doesn't matter how tough it is. It doesn't matter if you've never done it before. Find a way. Make a way. Come on, we have an African-American president. Let's make him look good. Let's say, yeah, you see how it's been. Y'all got us into this war. This cat got us out. Fine, that's what he's doing. But what are you doing? Do your part. Come on now. Come on, we can't be so. Make yourself a promise. Stop drinking. You're poisoning your body anyway. That's what the buzz is. And take it from a guy who buzzed for many years of his life. All you're doing is poisoning yourself. All you're doing is shortening your life. And if you're not shortening it, all you're doing is shortening the sense in your life. You're not making wise decisions. If you've been drinking for any length of time, the fact that you're still drinking proves it, okay? Stop drinking. Stop smoking. Stop smoking cigarettes. Stop doing anything that's harmful to your body. Begin eating right. Put away the ground beef and start eating turkey. Start eating more green foods, or find something like I have. There's this green, they have this barley green, or this green, they have these mixes you can mix into orange. Like, I don't like to eat green foods, but I buy this green mix at the health food store, I mix with orange juice, and drink that every day. So I still am finding a way. I'm not going to be eating spinach and broccoli and all that stuff, but I'm getting my green foods. Find a way. I can't tell you how to find your way, but find a way. Get your life together. And your kids coming after you. When you look at when you look at folks, some of the foreigners that come to this nation, and they start like businesses. Especially like in our neighborhoods, we see some of the Arabs or some of the people from some of the Middle Eastern countries coming here and doing this. And sometimes we resent them. We still give them our service and all. We see the Koreans like in the gold hair places and all this stuff. And we see some of the Indians at the gas stations, and this one Indian guy that I know that has a Subway over on Main Street. Really cool guy. I really like that guy. I like to see people, entrepreneurs that have an idea and then they put it into action and then they make money and they're successful especially. And sometimes we resent these folks because we've been here all these years and we have all these excuses and reasons. But you're looking at a person, I've been overseas. As a kid, I lived in Europe for like 4.5 years. As an adult, I lived in Asia for a while. And so it's difficult when you go to another country, especially if you don't speak the language well. And so I see these people, and one thing like me, I was in the military, so that's easy. You're just going in the military. But these people have come to our nation. So really they've come to another nation just to try to start a new life and be successful. And they're not rich when they come here. But see, in their minds, they're seeing that if I make the right sacrifices now, my kids are going to benefit. And then my kids may not be rich, but their kids will benefit. So these people are coming here recognizing that their great-grandchildren are going to be wealthy in America because of the sacrifices that they've made. See, black folks, we don't think like this in America. We're just trying to we'll spend all of our money. We'll spend our money on the number. We'll spend our money on drugs and weed or whatever. We'll spend our money on alcohol, and our kids are left by the wayside with nothing. What I'm suggesting today, we need to recognize that our life we should be the one with the baton, running that relay race, which is something else I know nothing about. But if you repeat and repeat and repeat, and somebody's telling you how to do it, you're going to get better and better. We hold that baton. Run that race. Don't drop the baton and say, well, I'm dead, now somebody got to scrape up some money to bury me. No, make something of yourself and pass a little bit of something to your child, okay? That's what I'm talking about. And then they can make a little something and pass it to their child. And if you got nothing right now and you've made so many mistakes that it's just not happening like that, then do something. We got situations where our kids in school, I got my child in this nice little school there. What's interesting about the school is that they make us work. For real. I ain't never heard of such a thing. They send a calendar home every month And the child has to read, do math, do all these things. And I have to initial my name next to where I did it with her. Whereas the reading, she has to read to me. So it's like every day, me and my wife, we have homework. It's been going on for 3 years now. Man, when I came up, it wasn't like that. I might need some help in homework. My parents are like, well, you learned that in school. Why you should have been listening. Do your homework. Hey, it wasn't like it is today. So what I'm saying is help your child in homework. I mean, the other day I was in one of the neighborhoods. I was on Denison. You know where that is, some of y'all. And there was a school book just laying in the middle of the street where some kid had just discarded. Now, I mean, a big old thick, a regular, I don't know what subject it was, but school book. I see them all the time. These kids, our kids aren't even going to school. When they're in school, they're high, they're in the principal's office, they're messing up, and the graduation rate among African Americans in this nation is dismal. I see kids in the neighborhood and I don't tell them. I see this one kid in the neighborhood that my son went to high school with, went to CJ with. And this kid my son had graduated college and he's off on a career making more money than me with no kids and no wife, and it better stay that way for a while. And this kid that he was actually sitting next to in school was just sitting on his mom and daddy's porch with his pants draped down here, smoking a blunt. Parents, come on now, even if it's too late for us, we need to find some way. I don't care, there's an internet. There's a library. Teach yourself math. Even if you don't get college credit or any kind, maybe it's too late for all that. Learn something and begin to help your kids in their homework. Make sure they do their homework. Ben Carson. How many heard of Ben Carson? One of the greatest brain surgeons. African American. Republican. Voted for Romney. But anyway, that's something else altogether. But the point is, this guy's mama was illiterate. Single mother. No man in the house. She couldn't even read. But guess what? Every night she had him reading. She had him reading to her every night, as if she could really tell if he was making a mistake or not. That's what she did. Think about that. So it doesn't matter what level of education you're on. Get with your child. Help them study. Encourage them to study, so that they can be smarter than you. I mean, really, to me, that's really the purpose of a parent. I mean, there's no way as a child progresses through school properly, when they come to a particular point, probably in high school, they're going to know some stuff that you don't know. That's great. That's what a parent wants. When I look at my son today, I call him myself plus. So I see myself in him. I see my personality in some ways. I see some of my character traits in him, but he's better than I was, especially at his age. That's what we need as parents. That's passing that baton. So when he comes to his child, he'll be able to pass his baton to his child, and hopefully his child will be better than him, and the next child will be better than him. And we can find ourselves sort of like those Indians that are running those gas stations, or the Koreans that are doing the hair places, or the Arabs that are in those little grocery stores, that we recognize that our sacrifices aren't necessarily for ourselves today, but down the generational line in our families, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren are going to benefit because of the sacrifice, because of the determinations that we made today. Let's just consider that. It's really important, for real, because we don't want to curse our children to be living substandard lives in a nation that's progressing years and years from now, even after we're gone. We can be the one, we can be the catalyst that changed the trajectory, recalibrated the mechanism so that the direction of our children are going up into wellness,